Muy buenas chicos, aquí Zal. Bienvenidos un día más a un nuevo vídeo de Genshin Impact. Bueno, en el vídeo anterior hicimos, un montón de cosas, pero súper intensas, peleando contra dioses antiguos, peleando contra Nobile, todo súper intenso. Y ahora vamos a continuar con el rito del ascenso, ¿vale? Nos tocaría hacer la misión, el rito del ascenso, y tenemos que buscar a Zhongli. Así que vamos a ver qué está haciendo. Me sabe que está por aquí el chico. Vale, aquí está. Bueno, este no es Zhongli, pero ok. Mejpo. Uy, un cofre. No creo que nos quede mucho de Liyue. De hecho, viendo las recompensas, creo que esta va a ser la última misión del capítulo del Acto 3. ¿Acto 1, capítulo 3? ¿O capítulo 1, Acto 3?
Unfortunately, Zhongli isn't here at the moment. It seems he went to Northland Bank.
Oh no, fue a por Nobile y Nobile le va a quitar el Noxys. Que estoy seguro de que Zhongli es el arconte.
Last time we saw Zhongli was before we went to the Golden House. Do you think he doesn't know about the attack on Liyue? Visiting the Fatui at a time like this could only mean more trouble. We had better go and make sure that everything is okay.
Algo me dice que no. Busca a Zhongli en el banco del Reino del Norte. Es que aparte justo en el episodio anterior nos saltó Paimon con el tema de... hicieron esto para que apareciera el arconte Geo y nadie apareció. Entonces al final el plan no le sirvió de nada. Y Zhongli fue a ver a Nobile. Creo que Zhongli sí que va a ser el arconte Geo. Ya lo supuse en un principio. Bueno, como no sé ahora me callaré toda mi vida, pero... No me interesa, quiero entrar. Ah, sí, gracias. Me empieza a hablar la tipa y yo en plan de... no quería hablar contigo. Quería entrar en el banco.
You call this cooperation between harbingers. Cooperation involves communication.
Zhongli no será uno de los 11, ¿verdad?
Don't take it to heart, child. Besides, aren't you happy that you got to skip the formalities and bring chaos to the land? I'm sure you must have enjoyed that. Oh, it seems that some of your friends have arrived.
Hey, it's Zhongli and Child. And...
La guarra que atacó a Venti.
You're also one of the Harbingers?
Es señora.
It's you two. I believe we've met once before. In the city of Bards, was it? I'm glad you still remember my name. Ah, right. I imagine that it must have been rather hard to forget watching helplessly as something precious was snatched away from your friend.
Todavía puedo recuperarlo.
No, don't let her get to you.
Me precipito. Si pude con Child, puedo con esta furcia.
You've yet to gather the powers of all 7 elements. And our last battle at
No
the
lo
Golden
digas
House
tan
was almost more than
alto.
we could handle. So it might be best to keep things peaceful this time, seeing that 2 of the Harbingers are here.
Well, if it isn't you two. This is our first time seeing each other since Liyue was nearly
Child
wiped
modo
off the map.
casual después de casi hacer arder Liyue.
Awkward, wouldn't you say?
Paimon knew that we should never have trusted
No,
a
pobre
Fatui
Child.
Harbinger.
Es un niño incomprendido.
Oh, now don't say that. Sure, I may have misled you, but I never had anything against you personally.
Zhongli que hace aquí.
Besides, I thought we were getting along quite well together, didn't you?
Yo
Except for that
yo
little
también lo
tussle we had
pienso.
at the end.
El dolor.
Nothing personal. We just have different views, that's all. Of course, you may
Yo
very well
personalmente
hold this
no le
against
guardo
me,
rencor.
but
Me cayó
that's
bien
up to
Child,
you.
aunque sea una mala persona.
The real deceivers here are Senora and Zhongli. Curse them for leading me on.
Zhongli, no, Zhongli, eso sí que me dolería. No jodas, eso no me lo esperaba. Si ignoráis Zhongli.
So actually, I think
Stop wasting time, child. There'll
No,
be
no,
plenty
yo
of
quiero
time to
saber la
chat once
verdad.
I'm through here. You remember the agreement, Morax. Now, if you would be so kind. The Gnosis, please.
Sabía que, o sea, yo me olía lejísimos que Zhongli era Morax, o sea, era Rex Lapis Morax, como quieras llamarlo, pero ¿qué clase de acuerdo hizo con estos? ¿Qué acuerdo hizo? ¿La Gnosis?
What in the world are you talking about?
¡Ups! ¡Pillado!
The contract. is fulfilled. That which thou seeketh is now bestowed unto thee. For
Perdón, me lo he saltado. Zhongli, no. ¿Por qué?
How sanctimonious.
Justo como pensaba.
What? So you're the Lord of Chio? No, wait.
Claro, como hizo el trato con los Fatui, habló con Childs con total normalidad porque habían hecho un trato ya de antemano.
I do not give it for free. I give it as agreed upon in the contract. For it is a matter solely between the Tsaritsa and I.
¿Y por qué fingiste tu muerte?
Yeah, you don't think you went a little bit too far with that whole fake death thing? Everyone was preparing the ceremony for you and splat! This big dragon falls out of the sky and all of Lyra goes into an uproar. Talk about a disaster.
Gathering all the forces that had been bubbling behind the scenes, and then stirring them together in a pot that was bound to boil over. That's what he wanted to see, am I right?
Wait, what?
Perhaps it's best that I explain. As you know, I've dwelt upon this world for more than 6,000 years. I witnessed the founding of Liyue, together with the Adepti 3,700 years ago. Even boulders that can withstand whirlpools will erode with the passing of time. Until one
Perdón,
drizzly
me he vuelto a
day,
saltar.
as I was strolling along the harbor, I heard a merchant tell one of his workers, "You finished your duties. Go ahead and call it a day." I stood motionless among the crowds, asking
O
myself,
sea que Zoli está en modo quiero mi jubilación, creo que va siendo hora. 6.000 años son muchos años.
Oh, Zhongli.
but as I began to consider relinquishing my divine role, I soon discovered that
Y
many
montó todo esto
reasons
para ver
still
si los
remained
demás
to not
podían
hastily
proteger
depart.
la ciudad sin él, ¿verdad?
Was Liyue, the city I had dwelt in for so long, already prepared to enter its next age? So I feigned my own death, and gathered the cast of Child, the Adepti, and the Liyue Chising to play their roles together on the stage that was Liyue.
¿Estás satisfecho con el resultado?
Indeed I was. The gnosis which I had kept for so many years suddenly seemed to have lost
¿Pero
its
para qué
meaning.
sirven? Yo quiero saber para qué sirven.
That's right. Which is why I continued to safeguard the gnosis until now.
So you mean that if the chaos ever reached the point of no return, you would simply appear and use your divine powers to bring Liyue back under control?
Of course, and it would have been all too easy for him too. Just as a child quickly matures after losing their parents, so has Liyue matured when faced with the death of its deity.
I was pleasantly surprised with the finale of the show that you all put on. Why, you even deserved an encore. The Adepti deserve the greatest applause, considering their years of seclusion. They hardly recognized the city, yet faced with such a crisis, they exerted the greatest amount of restraint. Not only did they manage to cooperate with the Chising, but in the end, they even tried to understand the heart of the people. And hats off to the emissary dispatched by the Cryo-Archon to fulfill our contract, Signora. She managed to keep everything she knew in strict confidence.
O sea que Novail no sabía nada y hizo lo que él pensaba que tenía que hacer para conseguir la
just as I had
gnosis.
requested. All the while, I carried on as Zhongli, and fulfilled the traditions of Liyue in this mortal form. Thank you for walking that path with me, traveler. These things were all a part of my script. The only unforeseen plot twist was the conduct of the Liyue Chising. I had expected them to do no more than the Adepti, to come to the defense of Liyue. But when all was said and done, they seized the opportunity to supplant Liyue's divine protectors, and used the subsequent power vacuum left by my death.
No te puedes
to quickly
fiar de la
gain complete
gente,
control
Zoli.
of Liyue.
That doesn't sound good at all.
On the contrary, I think it is excellent. I had always feared that it was too soon for them
Pero
to take
entonces
over
Liyue
from
va a
me,
quedar sin un dios Geo.
and it was also that which I longed
¿No era
for the
mejor buscar un
most.
sustituto?
As such, This is the best parting gift anyone
Como
could
los
have
demás
given this
arcontes,
god
o sea,
of
cuando
old.
muere uno viene otro, ¿no? Supuestamente.
Hey, what about me? Doesn't anyone feel the least bit of remorse for deceiving
Chai,
me?
cállate un poco,
You've
¿vale? Por
practically kept me
favor.
in the dark.
Sigo apenado porque el mío no se convierta en cosa rara.
I think that thanks would be more appropriate. You certainly played no small part in all of this, wreaking havoc and turning the city upside down. The Lord of Geo ought to thank you for your performance, if anything. If you hadn't created the pressure of a battle between mortals, adepti, and a god, the lump of coal
O sea que al final
resting in the
Chai, en vez de
hands
hacer
of
arder
Geo
Liyue, la hizo
Archon,
florecer más que
Leo
nunca.
would never have been able to become a dazzling diamond of a city.
Huh? Just whose side are you on, mocking me like that? Are you itching for a fight?
Vergüenza me daría estar en tu posición. Ahora que lo mencionas, Novail y yo fuimos igualmente engañados.
Be that as it may, you've come out of this as the hero of Liyue.
A ver,
I, on
Chai,
the other hand,
no jodas, has
will be
perturbado
forever
la paz.
prescribed
¿Cómo
as
quieres
the
que te
disturber
recuerde?
of the peace, no?
Well then, with the Gnosis in my possession, I have no use for such idle chatter. We should return to Zapolyarny Palace and seek an audience with Her Majesty, the Tsaritsa. Come, child.
Fine. I'll meet you there later. I'm not sharing a boat with the likes of you.
Do as you wish.
Te odio, que lo sepas. Te haré pagar por lo que le hiciste a Venti.
Is there anything else you wish to ask me?
¿Qué te dio el arconte crío a cambio de tu Gnosis?
Right! As Zhongli always told us, a good trade is a fair trade. Paimon has no idea what could be a good trade for a Gnosis.
Realistically speaking, there is no such thing.
No pidió nada.
However, I am the god of contracts. For thousands of years, I have made countless contracts. If the deal was of no benefit, then I certainly would not be inclined to agree to it. My agreement with the Cryo Archon will be the last of my contracts.
Contrato para terminar todos los contratos.
My contract to end all contracts. As for the bargaining chip that the Tsaritsa used to balance the scales, uncover that answer for yourself in
¿Qué?
your future journeys.
Ahora quiero saberlo. ¡No! Sal del banco del Reino del Norte. Me han dejado con la mierda. Te odio, Zhongli, que lo sepas. En realidad no, me cae muy bien. La verdad es que tanto Child como Zhongli me cae bien. No es como si llora, que la odio. La odio mucho. Después de que todo se tranquilice, no me dio tiempo a leerlo porque el juego se piensa que leo a la velocidad de la luz.
Although the star of the show is fake, we spent so much time trying to organize it.
Oh, vamos a ver
it
una...
would be a real
espectáculo.
shame not to go there now.
Tengo la costumbre de trepar por aquí, no sé por qué, pero las costumbres están hechas para seguirse haciendo, ¿no? Así que sube. Pues no sé, tengo ideas. O sea, no me esperaba para nada que hubiera hecho un contrato. A ver, mal por mi parte, porque siendo yo de los contratos tendría sentido. Pero no me esperaba para nada que hubiera hecho un contrato Zhongli con el arconte crío para darle su gnosis.
Off we go!
You know that god from the ocean couldn't have just shown up out of nowhere. I mean, it's been 2,000 years since Rex Lapis subdued it.
Yes, and to think that this happened right on the heels of the incident with Rex Lapis, too.
Say, do you think the person who assassinated our
No,
lord
no fue
and
Chais,
released
no le
that
eches la
evil
culpa a él,
god
por
might have
favor.
been one and the same?
De lo primero, de lo segundo sí.
Now that you mention it, that's very possible. Yes, it's very possible indeed. I mean, it all fits together. That person must have colluded with the evil god to harm Rex Lapis.
Mi pobre Chai.
Oh, that wicked, black-hearted scoundrel. Still, what sort of supernatural prowess must this person possess to be able to do such things? I have never heard of such a person in all my years.
Ah, forget it. Guessing's no use to us. Look, the Millilith over there looks like he's about to make an announcement. Let's hear what the Ministry of Civil Affairs has to say first.
Uy, tengo miedo de cómo se va a desarrollar esto. Vale, me quedan estos.
Oh, well, since we're going through with this rite of parting,
Te has llevado
I guess
pies
it means
grandes.
that those rumors hit the nail on the head.
So Rex
El
Lapis
llave
is
inglés.
really...
¿Qué cojones?
But they didn't catch the culprit, did they?
Oh, come on. Do you think that the assassin could have been a normal person? You know what I think. I don't think any of the gossip on the streets you hear from those shady types is worth anything. There's only one real possibility in my mind. I've heard that the assassin was that Fatui
Le van a cagar el mortal no
youngish,
baile.
pretty high in rank. I think they called him Child.
Fatui? They certainly are very suspicious. Who knows what those greedy, crooked folks...
Shh! Lower your voice. If the Fatui catch you in their sights, Rex Lapis won't be around to protect you this time.
Hacen bien tenerles miedo porque la están liando todo el tiempo.
Hear ye all! The Chi sings words. Though a dragon soars ageless as the mountains, it too must return to dust. This is common knowledge. Gods and Adepti live glorious lives, but both light and shadow have their season. So too must they face divinely appointed trials. Rumors and hearsay abound on the streets that Rex Lapis was murdered. Now, let the truth be revealed. Having been thwarted in his trial, Rex Lapis's soul has recouped the celestial heights. He beseeches the people of Liyue to grieve not and to let not their hearts be saddened. Nor are they to believe street-born rumors or indulge in baseless speculation.
Paimon needs a translation on what the Chising's announcement said.
Dijeron que Rex Lapis no fue asesinado.
So that's how they're spinning it. Something feels off. Why would they suddenly give up looking for the murderer? Not to mention,
Igual Zonli fue a hablar con
this
Ningguang.
sounds like something they just made up on the spot. Could the Chising already have known that Rex Lapis wasn't dead? But Zhongli said that neither they nor the
Pero también sabemos que Ningguang sabe todo lo que está pasando en Liyue.
Did Zhongli tell them in secret after his gnosis changed hands?
Creo que esta vez ha dado en el blanco.
Exactly, right? Ooh, seems like the right of
O sea que, bueno, por lo menos los 7 de Liyue saben que... O sea, que Zonli simplemente quería dejar de ser Dios. Ve al lugar de celebración de... Vale. Ya llego, ya llego.
Look, it's Ningguang and Kuching. Are they saying something? Are their speeches over?
As said previously, Rex Lapis's soul returning to the heavens is the end of the contract. And it is also the end of an era.
3,700 years of contracts burnt and reduced to ash.
We, the people of Liyue, were indeed
Hostia, ahí está la acosadora.
but
La de
blinded
Violeta.
by our prosperity, we forgot that time can be
Y Madame
pitiless.
Ping.
The long, unending dream of our Archon walking among us.
Now that we have awoken from our dream, we must learn to say farewell. Will you stand with us as we re-establish our contracts? As we build a new age of prosperity?
So concludes the words of Her Eminence the Tianquan. Does Her Eminence the Yuheng have anything to add?
Huh? Is she looking this way?
Traveler.
Yikes! She really
Aquí delante de todos, vamos. Aquí dijo miedo.
Is that the traveler who they say defeated the ancient god?
Ala, ala.
So young.
The Liyue Chising always repay their debts. And as you have heard, our eyes see far and our reach is long. Name your price. You deserve that much.
1.000.000 de mods.
Whoa.
O no, la acosadora. Socorro. ¿Va a hablar?
Well, could you help me put up some missing person posters?
Este personaje, o sea, habla o para momentos super épicos en plan de Venti, o para hacer de mala forma, por cierto, o simplemente para decir, mirad, mi hermano ha desaparecido, ¿me ayudáis a poner carteles de personas desaparecidas? Ok, protagonista, ok. Duerme un rato. Logro completado, el último adiós. Socorro. Espérate, hablar con la gente no involucra... Oh, no, tengo que hablar con la La acosadora. Quiero mi logro. A ver, vamos por partes. Tengo miedo. Me ayudáis a colgar por papeles de personas desaparecidas. Dios mío.
And to think I'd put my best
Socorro.
perfume on
Tengo
before
miedo.
coming here, thinking you'd like it. But it seems as if those perfumes really were meant to be offered to Rex
¿Qué
Lapis.
pensabas?
Well, that's fine. Suffer no rivals in love.
Oh,
they
Dios
say.
mío, no.
And that's 3 gone in 1 stroke.
Escapa. Corre, protagonista. Oh, no. Tenía que dar con ella. Observar la campana. A ver. Como dicta la tradición del rito del ascenso, el sonido purificador de la campana acompaña al alma del inmortal en su travesía. Es difícil imaginar que un objeto tan valioso está dentro de una tetera polvorienta y con telarañas. A ver, Madame Ping.
As for the mortals and adepti of Liyue, what shape
Se me hace raro que haya adeptus con forma humana y adeptus que no la tengan puesta. Supongo que Ganyu, como es mitad, o Ganyu, como se diga, como es mitad y mitad, quiero presuponer que no influye, o sea, que no puede cambiar de forma, que está condenada a ser mitad y mitad. Bueno, y supongo que tendré que hablar con este, pero espera.
Roping you in was possibly the most masterful move we could have made. I believe that future generations will say so too when our
¿Atarte?
deeds come up for their review.
Como atarte. Cuando me han atado.
Why you? Were you just trying to look cool earlier, or are you
Super
really
discurso.
that
¿Me
selfless?
ayudáis a colgar pósters?
If you were looking for someone, you could have just told me that in private.
Es que pedí una cosa súper tonta, en realidad.
Cleanup of the premises, managing the crowds as they exit, making an account of the rite. There's much that
Ay,
remains to
quiero a
be done.
Ganyu.
I didn't miss anything, did I?
Llorando. Te quedas tú.
Rex Lapis. Oh, Rex Lapis. Now that I think about it, if everyone's of the same mind as me, perhaps mementos for Rex Lapis might be the best short-term business opportunity.
Vamos a buscarle beneficio a esto. Busca a Zhongli. Y Zhongli aquí apartado, ¿sabes? Acudiendo a su despedida. Hola, Zhongli.
Hey, Zhongli! Look at this. Everyone in Liyue is caught up in their emotions, thinking that they'll never
No te hace
see
sentir
Rex
mal,
Lapis again.
mala persona.
And here you are looking all relaxed.
Why would I not feel more at ease after laying down the burden I have borne for 3,700 years?
A ver, en parte entiendo, estaba pensando, a ver, que Venti también lleva este tiempo, supuestamente, pero claro, Venti es más pasota. Al final él deja libre a su pueblo, entonces supongo que él no tiene problema ninguno en ser un dios así.
Right. If the two of you can spare the time.
¿Y tienes moras esta vez, mi querido Rex Lapis? Porque no pagas nada, pero cotizas que flipas.
That sounds like big talk, Zhongli. Paimon might have believed you if you were treating us to some third-round knockout, but you'd have to pay out your nose just to stand inside Shinyue Kiosk. Are you sure you can afford it?
Habla de dientes para afuera.
You're right. I do like the Mora.
¿Cómo es posible que Morax no tenga ni un Mora?
As the Rex Lapis Morax, I can easily create Mora.
¡Qué tramposo!
But since I have chosen to walk this earth as the mortal Zhongli, I should abide by the same rules that mortals do. When I was journeying with you, though I still had the Gnosis in hand, I knew that I must soon retire from my role as an Archon. So I had to rehearse a little.
Oh, no wonder. Paimon gets it now. You didn't look at the price tags when we were spending because you've never had to. But since you weren't used to not being able to just make
Parásito.
more Mora as and when you wanted to, you had to try becoming a parasite to society who lives off of other people's credit.
Well, we were only spending Fatui money. You don't have to say it like that. In the City of Commerce, we do not merely exchange money or goods. We also exchange knowledge, memories, and foresight, as well as positions, roles, and lives. The Archon Morax could never experience life as the true mortal Zhongli could, no matter how many times he descended to be with his people. I must thank you for that. I will treasure the memories that I made as Zhongli, traveling the streets of Liyue with you.
Fue un buen viaje.
That is true. But there is no journey that does not
O sea que no vamos a volver a ver a Zhongli.
No meetings without partings.
Paimon thinks that we should make a move and continue our search for the Seven.
I fear that continuing your journey may be difficult. The nation that neighbors Liyue by sea, Inazuma, is presently closed.
¿Quién es el dios que gobierna Inazuma?
The Electro-Archon Ball. And just as the people of Liyue preferred to call me Rex Lapis, she too goes by another name among locals in Inazuma.
Paimon thinks we've heard that one before.
Samurai era, ¿no? Samurai Raiden o algo así.
Raiden?
That is the case.
La Shogun, perdón.
And since
Shogun
Raiden
Raiden
is also the shogun of the Inazuma Bakufu, people call her the Raiden Shogun.
La Shogun.
That said, though people at the wharf were saying that the situation in Inazuma is very tense, Paimon doesn't remember that always being the case. It wasn't that bad last year. Zhongli, since you're Rex Lapis, shouldn't you know something about what's happening there? Just how did Inazuma become a closed nation?
It's because of visions.
Visions?
¿Perdón?
When faced with circumstances beyond their control, humans often bemoan their lack of power. But if a person shows true strength of will at a desperate and fateful moment in their life, this is what visions are. Magical foci bestowed upon those who have been acknowledged by the gods.
Uh-huh. That's how people in Teyvat see it.
But starting from last year, the Raiden Shogun began promulgating the Vision Hunt Decree.
Vision Hunt Decree?
Yes. It was an order to seize all visions within Inazuma's borders, and to inlay them upon the hands of a statue of the thousand.
Bueno, a Isaac no le puede quitar nada porque no tiene una visión.
They want to seize visions. But why? Aren't visions blessings from the gods?
I should think that in the Raiden Shogun's eyes, it is precisely because they are divine blessings that they should be under the sole dominion of divinity.
Whoa, that's harsh.
The Animo Archon is the god of freedom, and the Geo Archon is the god of contracts. For her part, the Raiden Shogun is the god of eternity. It seems as though she has finally decided to eliminate any unstable elements that could pose a threat to her eternal realm. The fact that even I, the oldest of the seven, have now passed away, will only strengthen her resolve to pursue eternity. Knowing her, she must have again quoted that adage she is most fond of when proclaiming that decree to her people. 7 ideals for 7 gods, and of these, eternity is nearest unto heaven.
El cielo.
All right then. Was there anything
wow.
else you
A ver,
wished to
vamos
know?
por partes. ¿Qué hay de ese juicio?
That was a good one. Failing a divine trial. How they came up with that excuse. That said, the reason why the Qixing were so eager to resolve the incident and stop pursuing the culprit was indeed because they received news in secret that Rex Lapis was not dead. I hinted as much to the Adepti as well.
Ah, vale, vale, no solo aviso a estos.
How did I accomplish that, you ask? Have you ever heard of this particularly convenient Adepti art known as gifting dreams and visions?
Ah, por eso Ningguang tuvo un sueño.
All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know?
¿Qué pasó con Nobile?
Yeah, about that. Before the Qixing made their announcement, we listened to a lot of people talking on the way. Most of them put the blame for everything on Child.
These are indeed false accusations. But it remains undeniably true that Child did send people to the Jade Chamber to prevent the Adepti and the Qixing from defeating the ancient god. I've heard that Ningguang is busy milking that for all it's worth on the foreign relations front at the moment, browbeating the envoys of the Fatui. Ha! Those poor Snezhnayan diplomats. If it were not for Child's exalted position as a harbinger, I'm certain that they would have
Pobre
shifted all the
Child,
blame
suerte
to
que
him
esté de alto
and called
rango.
for his dismissal by now.
Bueno, si lo hubieran echado yo lo metería en mi equipo sin
All right
problemas.
then. Was there anything else you wish to know?
¿Qué hay de las 7 estrellas de Liyue?
The time of the Adepti has long passed. If even the Liyue Chising don't want to face that truth, then what future is there for Liyue? Kuching is absolutely right in saying this. Now, though I did laud Ningguang's desire for power, believing this to be a good thing, and thought as a matter of course that she must have been behind the Chising's plan to take governing power over Liyue from the hands of the gods and Adepti, could the original person who brought up the idea of seizing power have been... All right then.
Y no me lo
Is there
dice.
anything else you wish to know?
Sobre el Mora.
That's right. Zhongli, now that you don't have your gnosis, what's going to happen to all the Mora in Tibet?
Desaparecerán.
Since Morax is dead, are they all just gonna disappear? Also, isn't the Golden House the only mint in the entire continent?
Está dando un ataque a Paimon. ¡El dinero! ¡El dinero!
The Mora present now will not vanish. But the Golden House will indeed have to cease operations for a lengthy period of time, since creating Mora requires the use of the Geo-Archon's power.
This is terrible! We're all about to run out of
Mi dinero. ¿Cómo subiré a mis personajes de nivel?
Yes, this is indeed a
Sí,
major
esto está
issue
pancho.
from a financial standpoint. Well, I suppose we'll just leave such troublesome matters to the Liyue Chising to debate.
Then, did you at least set some private funds aside for yourself?
Oh, a private fund.
Creo que no.
This does seem like a
Algo me
good
dice que no lo había
logical, common
pensado.
sense idea. It's a shame.
What's a shame?
It's a shame that I didn't think of it at the time. All right then. Was there anything else you
Ay,
wished to know?
Zhongli, te quiero
Well,
mucho.
then, I suppose you'll have to find a way to get inside this closed nation. Have patience. I suspect that some serendipity must first come into play.
Vale. Y chicos, hemos completado el capítulo 1. Una nueva escena de Ascenso. Supongo que de momento no estará añadido, o sea, no habrá ni información del siguiente capítulo. Vamos a mirar. No, ya no tenemos nada más de los arcontes, ¿veis? Hasta creo que en diciembre, o sea, este mes creo que añaden más. Con algo de la espina de dragón me suena, o sea, una zona, creo que es esta zona que hay aquí. Esto que hay entre Mondstadt y Liyue. Creo que se llama la montaña de espina dragón o algo así. Y creo que lo van a añadir en ese, o sea, en ese fragmento. Me estoy dando cuenta de que podríamos... Vale, chicos, ¿qué os ha parecido el episodio? A mí la verdad es que, o sea, yo me olía lo de Zhongli, pero más que nada porque era Geo. Y era una de las pocas, por no decir única persona Geo que me estaba saliendo en el juego. Pero por lo demás, me ha sorprendido el tema de que hicieran un contrato para dar la gnosis. Me ha sorprendido también que, o sea, entiendo que después de 3000 años esté cansado y quiera dejarlo, pero me ha sorprendido la forma de hacerlo. ¿No habría sido mejor haber buscado un... Oh, no, la acosadora. ¿No habría sido mejor haber buscado un sustituto? Creo yo, vaya. Y no sé... ¿Qué más comentaros? Y me da un poco de pena Child, que le ha caído todo el muerto. Pero cierto es que él se lo ha buscado. Pero me sigue cayendo bien. Es que el diseño de Child me encanta. Y además conseguí hace poco la Rumble, que es su arco. Y veis cómo molan los dos juntos. Vale, después de este inciso, recordaros que Cuyo empezó un canal nuevo que se llama Mundo Alternativo, donde también está grabando Genshin Impact. Lo tenéis en mis canales asociados. Y nada, Genshin Impact es un juego gratuito, así que todo lo podemos disfrutar. Entonces, los que ya hayan visto esta historia, pues espero que les haya gustado. Y a los que no, pues si la están viendo conmigo, pues espero que la disfrutéis. Y nada, pues nos veremos en otros vídeos de Genshin Impact. Que por lo pronto, todavía nos quedan las misiones legendarias de Zhongli y de Child. Cuando terminemos eso, si no ha salido todavía la siguiente parte de la historia, pues creo que no subiré nada más de Genshin hasta que empiece. Pero si no, ya empezaríamos con lo nuevo de la montaña espina dragón, creo que se llamaría, o lo que sea. Así que nada, espero que os haya gustado mucho el vídeo y hasta otra.